This is just fictional story. It's imaginary. Watch at your own risk. No copyright intended. I only own the storyline, editing, and maybe voiceover if I have to. Deeply sorry for the grammatical errors or any mistakes. This is just purely for entertainment purposes. Thank you. You can mute the video if you only want to peacefully reading.
I'm sorry, she said while her eyes following the man who's busy cooking. Since almost 30 minutes ago. And since then also, she's been saying sorry every few minutes. Explaining the situation, though seems the man has no interest in listening to her. He's been silent since she came back home, late from work. So late, it's almost 11:30. She sighed as he again didn't even glance at her, act like she didn't even exist, before she went to one of the chairs and sat on it, staring at his back while remembering what she did wrong. He's been ignoring her, not even saying a word since she reached home. Not his fault, though. She realized it's hers. Her fault. Since half an hour ago. She reached home tired, yet also happy after spending the night with her coworkers. One of her coworkers got a promotion, and they all decided to celebrate it right after the work time. So even she couldn't get away. And then they spent hours in a cafe, didn't really care about the time because tomorrow is Friday, before everyone going back home around 10. She also happily spent time with them, forgetting so many things. She sent her husband a simple message, informing him she will come back late, not really tell him the details why or when she will really reach home. And then, when she was in the cafe, she forgot her phone in her car in the parking lot. But she thought it wasn't a problem because she already informed her husband, and also thought it won't take long for the little celebration. But turned out it takes hours, and no one realized it's already quite late. And when she reached the car, that was another mistake she made. She didn't check her phone, but right away drove back home, wanting to. Immediately rest and sleep. Didn't know that her husband had been calling her hundreds times. And when she reached home, she got a little surprised when she found her husband still awake, sitting on the couch in their living room. She greeted him, but he only glances at her and said nothing. She feels something is weird because the man didn't even answer her question why he was still awake, and she thought he only wait for her, and that makes her a little guilty. But after the man still didn't say a single word, that's when she realized that there's probably something. She then started thinking about what went wrong, and it takes her almost half an hour, and it was when she was about to charge her phone, finding some unread messages and so many missed calls. And that's when she realized something that makes her so surprised and very guilty even more. Tonight, she and her husband should have had a little dinner date. They planned it since 2 days ago, but she forgot all that. They planned to cook together for dinner also, but it all didn't happen because of her. And when she checked his messages, turned out he tried to tell her about it too. And that's when she feels so bad, understanding the reason behind his silence. And then she started saying sorry to him after she looked for him and found him cooking in the kitchen, trying to explain everything, but seems like the man is so much hurt. He said nothing, not even getting angry, only silence. The man gulped and sighed while pouring the water in his glass, still feel his wife's gaze on his back, though she said nothing for a few minutes. He didn't scold her, probably because he knows that this wife is sometimes so careless and forgot things easily. But the hurt's still there and he can't help but act like this. He's been waiting since he reached home at 5:30, thinking his wife will go back and remember their plans. But turned out she didn't. That makes him feel even worse. He then turned before placing his plate of hot spaghetti and a glass of cold water before he sat down on the chair opposite of his wife and then heard her sighing. She then slowly laid her head on her left arm, facing to the side, waiting for him without staring at him so he won't feel awkward by her. And he secretly glances at her when he knows she didn't look at him before he starts eating. Of course I will choose the dinner date if I remember, she said with a low voice after a few minutes. It's completely my fault. I know. I will be the one who cleaned the dishes. She groaned while closing the door back after following him inside their room. He didn't listen to her and clean the dirty dishes himself, making her kind of frustrated. Sorry. Let's have another dinner date tomorrow night, she said, pleading, but the man only walks to their walk-in closet before disappearing inside. She groaned again while sitting. Didn't know how to get his forgiveness. She wanted him to stop ignoring her before she and him going to sleep. And while thinking about another way to seek her husband forgiveness, she looked up when she saw him walking out the closet, about to go to the bathroom. So she immediately get up and run to him before he could enter the bathroom, stopping right in front of him and speak as he couldn't help but stop. Can you please talk to me again? I already explained everything and said sorry a million times. Come on, she pleaded while holding one of his arms and looked up at him as he is a lot taller than her. But she groaned when he looked away while still not saying anything. So she started shaking him and speak. You can't punish me like this, isn't it enough already? She then pouted and stopped shaking him when he finally looked down at her, eyes staring right at her eyes. Please, she whispered and blinked her eyes like a little kid. He only keeps staring at her, his expression a bit. She didn't say anything more because she's afraid if she said something wrong. So she only waited for him. A few seconds he only keeps staring at her, and it makes her slowly got a bit impatient, but also kind of nervous and thinking he is too angry and disappointed. But suddenly something happened. She slightly gasped when her husband suddenly held her hand that once holding his arm with his other hand. But she got surprised not because of that, but because right after that, the man suddenly her eyes already wide open as she went inside with him before he closed the door and, without taking his hand from her, why you, I swear, don't say anything. He spoke while gritted his teeth when she started talking, making her instantly stopped. Finally heard his voice, but that's when she started to get even. The way he spoke with that husky low voice. But something else surprised her, as she couldn't help but followed him when he in less than 10 seconds. The cold water, but before she could even protest. It's too sudden. She couldn't even balance herself and step back, but her husband was fast enough too. And she couldn't do anything more except. She knows he is angry, but in all that, he is more frustrated than her. He needed this to let his emotions. And she had no problem with this way. As long as he is forgiving her and talk to her again. Letting him know he could. Anything. Without exchanging a word. Just action. Even the cold water slowly feels warm for her. For them. Until he eventually feels relieved. Until she eventually knows he is cooling down. He placed her down before also joining her, wanting to sleep. She also immediately hugged him after he placed the blanket over them both. Just meet each other's. And a few minutes later, before the man fully asleep, he heard her speak. Did you forgive me already? He didn't say anything for a few seconds. Thinking about something. He was disappointed, obviously. But it's not completely his wife's fault because she forgot it, not intentionally. He knows for sure she will choose him as she remembers. He knows that. He just didn't talk to make her understand and realize her mistake by herself. He won't get angry for long. Dinner date can happen another day, even tomorrow. So the only thing he wants is for her to realize what she did wrong. And she did realize everything, even apologizing multiple times. Is that enough? Of course. Relationship can't always be perfect. He then secretly smirked. He even makes sure she won't feel bad and guilty even more by not eating dinner because she forgot their date. So he decided to cook after she reached home. She isn't that good with cooking, so it's usually him who uses their kitchen. That's also why for their dinner date, they decided to cook together. She wanted to be able to help him, to be a better cooker, even though he don't mind at all being the one who can do that. He opened his eyes a little for a few seconds, only to again close them. Before she heard his voice, low and sleepy. No, she opened her eyes, a bit surprised with his answer. What? No? Why? He didn't answer her, making her slowly groan. What else should I do? It takes another few seconds before she heard his answer. Simple, but it makes her heart instantly. Maybe tomorrow? After another